Welcome everybody on the Resco product webinar. My name is Eduard Kesely. I am head of product and I will lead you through the new product advancements, new feature set with my colleagues from the product management department. So let's jump right into that. I will start with the product portfolio. Everybody knows Resco as a mobile-first technology vendor for providing mobility for businesses. This is correct statement. During the last couple of months, we have redefined our portfolio, and I will show you how. So our main field where we play now is Microsoft Business Application Ecosystem. We as a company, we are focusing on two major pillars in product development. First one of them is providing mobility for enterprises. And the second one is increasing productivity for the app makers and frontline workers by providing best-in-class experiences, out-of-the-box functionalities and components. So now let's take a look on what we provide for the mobility. First one is Mobile App Development Toolkit, which help businesses to build mobile applications easily for the Microsoft Power Platform and the Microsoft Dynamics 365 business applications. It is accompanied with the best offline capabilities on the market, ensuring that your frontline workers have all the necessary information even in the most challenging environments. It also has the robust low-code, no-code customization and configuration options tested by thousands of customers. And we also do have mobile solutions, which are pre-built micro-verticals focusing on the specific use case, such as housing inspections or energy inspections. And mobile solutions help partners to have some blueprint to start building their own verticals. On the right side, in regards of the productivity, we have a power components. This is the newest addition to our product portfolio. With this, Resco wants to increase the powerfulness of the Microsoft Power Platform with meaningful functionalities so app makers can utilize them for Power Apps and Power Pages. Resco is extending this library. We will provide also the support for the components. We will provide the upgrades so app makers can focus on really what matters and deliver cheaper and faster. And one last are the power solutions, which are basically more robust modules such as questionnaires, guides, or module for creating of documents from data which are in the Dataverse. In a nutshell, Resco has these four product groups, and we will present you the advancements and the features in those. Let's start with the Mobile App Development Toolkit.
Thank you, hello, and now we can look at some usability improvements in the View Designer. Here's a list of them, but I think we can jump straight to the first one, which is the rows management. Until now, you had to switch between your rows using a small drop-down hidden in a properties pane, which was very unintuitive, and Woodford users often forgot that they have designed multiple rows. Now you have finally all your rows displayed all at once on one screen, and you can easily switch between them just by selecting them with the mouse. This allows you to have an immediate overview of the size differences or cells layout. If you are using row script and want to have precisely aligned cells and individual conditionally formatted rows, it will definitely help you. The next topic is adding fields to view. We have also improved something in here. Until now, new users had to read documentation to understand that when they want to get more of their enabled fields to the view, they have to use the Select Fields command in the main toolbar. We have now placed a plus button directly above the list of fields to open the same dialog. At the same time, fields that have already been used at least once will be marked with a check mark, just like in the Form Designer. Now a small usability improvement of the work with quick row actions. Previously, to move, clone, delete rows or import their designs, you had to use commands in the top toolbar. This toolbar was horizontally scrollable, which made it difficult to use. Now they are conveniently accessible directly above the row and the main toolbar is cleaner. This is the grid layout, which has been available for quite some time and which is very useful, especially for the entities with images. Let's take a look at what is improved here. In order to design such a grid, you had to think about the width of the screens that your users will be using and set a maximum number of columns that will be displayed, which made this feature a bit confusing and not very often used. Nowadays, the number of columns intelligently adapts to the screen width, and you just need to set grid instead of list in this new property. In addition to the list and grid, it is also possible to achieve a table layout. It allows you to display field values side by side with the field names in the header, similar to Excel. This layout is especially useful on widescreen, on tablets and desktops when you want to use the space and display a lot of information on it. In Woodford, until now, you were able to set it by manually defining a breakpoint in pixels that represented the screen width from which the list or grid would change to a table layout. Now you just need to enable the auto table property and remember to set a breakpoint, after which the list or grid will change to auto table. We have predefined these breakpoints for you for mobile phones, tablet and desktop, but if you want to set your own custom breakpoint, you can. By default, the breakpoint is set to tablet because on a narrow phone screen, a table layout doesn't make much sense. And the last topic is the cells resizing and the mobile application. Users sometimes experienced overlaps of cells in rows, making the content unreadable due to misconfigured anchoring, because the anchoring tool was quite complicated, with some options having zero effect on the final layout, which contributed to the confusion. And now all newly added cells are set to responsive by default, which means that as the row width increases, the cells will proportionally increase as well, maintaining gaps between individual cells, but also distances from the row edges. If an overlap occurs that wasn't originally designed, it gets corrected by the app according to the template, and of course preserving the proportion of widths and the gaps between the cells. And if you don't want your cells to be responsive, which can happen, especially if the cell contains an image where you want to preserve the original aspect ratio, you can turn off the responsiveness. In the View Designer, when selecting a cell, you will see an arrow either to the left or to the right, according to the activated anchoring in the Properties pane. So that's all from myself, and Edo will continue.
Okay, the next one is geofencing functionality. So geofencing is location-based service that uses GPS, RFID, Wi-Fi, or any cellular data to create a virtual boundary around a specific area or point of interest. In many use cases, field service managers would like to have the information where their technicians are. So if they entered any geofence location or not, so they can provide better service for their customers, or they can even trigger some work permit process or completing the work order only in a specific area of being identified in a geofence. Now, what we did, the new upgraded geofencing feature provided by Resco allowed to get immediate updates when the frontline workers enter or leave your predefined location, such as office or inspection site. As you can see from the picture, there are many kind of settings which can be configured, such as what should be the radius around the point of interest, in which days or times it should be triggered and monitored, and so on. There are many benefits out of this feature. I can mention that managers have immediate updates entering or exiting location, or it has a really huge efficiency when it comes to the battery, and it also works in the background because it only triggers this feature when the technician or frontline worker is entering the location. So there are other benefits when it comes to the integration and the processing of the information gathered through this functionality by standard analytical tools such as Microsoft Power BI, and as well privacy because it only tracks the data within the designed and defined geofence areas. The next one is synchronization improvements. Synchronization in offline mode is our DNA. We are investing a lot into this area and have pretty news for you right now. So what is the problem there? Syncing large data sets impacts the productivity and can take a really long, it can be minutes, it can be hours. So what we did in this area? We are significantly improving the way how the data can access the Dataverse by introducing the new download method. Tabular data stream, also known as TDS, and basically what it does, it uses the SQL instead of the fetch queries. So the new synchronization engine improves the synchronization speed up to 6 times while increasing the reliability. Imagine downloading of million records in a minute or 2 instead of hours. It is off by default and need to be enabled in mobile application and would force to use this download method. The next one is used fields functionality. What it is and what we are solving here. Identifying where specific fields are being used can be really challenging in Resco projects. So there are use cases when consultants, when admins would like to optimize the synchronization times by removing the unneeded data and unneeded records. So they are having questions which fields are in use in mobile projects. Can I turn them off? Will it work? That's why we are introducing the new fields usage checker, which will help you to identify where are the individual fields used much quicker. It checks the field row dependency and usage across multiple areas within Resco mobile projects, such as synchronization filters, such as views, forms, or home. So the synchronization is much more fine-tuned, it is using only the relevant data, and it's overall much faster. So now, let's move to the another features and updates.
Thank you, and hello everyone. We are right now getting to the other part, and it's inspections functionalities. Inspections is really part of the Mobile Development Toolkit, and we are going to talk mostly about the questionnaire tools that we know. First feature that we implemented into this release is 0 instances of repeatable group. What we really solved with this feature is that there had to be at least one repeatable group instance, even if the user did not have anything to fill in. And what this really means is, you can see in the video, we have a group, identification of asbestos hazards. I created the instance of this group, and right now I deleted it. And what this feature allows us is to save and complete questionnaire in this state, so without any instance of the repeatable group. In the past, you had to fill in it at least once, but sometimes the users didn't have any reason to fill it in, so it was just empty, or it had to have some answers because there were some required answers or questions. And right now you just can delete it and save it without any repeatable group instance. Second feature that we have is, better said, it's more features, because there are multiple improvements in the questionnaire designer. And what we are trying to solve is that the rate at which the users comprehend and execute settings, as well as navigate throughout the questionnaire designer tool, is suboptimal. This means that we want to make it more efficient to really go through or design the questionnaires and go through the settings and everything in the questionnaire designer. What you can see right now is the old questionnaire designer. And as I mentioned, we implemented multiple features that makes it easier to navigate through, and use the questionnaire designer. There are some animations added, question groups are easier to differentiate, and even picked questions are easier to differentiate. And you can look even into the top bar, and there look at the rules. And what you can see is that right now it's visible which rules are used and which rules are not used. For example, in this image, you can see that on-change rules are used in this questionnaire. Now let's get to the other feature, and it's scores ranges for group results. Problem that we tried to solve is that there was a lack of score results per group in questionnaire. And it was really hard to connect some score results per component to the rules. What this really means is, in the questionnaire designer, I can enable score per each question group. So right now, as you can see, I clicked on group, I enabled the score results, and I can right now add score labels to each group. Thanks to this, I will know, for example, when I'm doing inspection of the car and I have engine as one group, I can have some different results, such as good shape of the engine, or it's in a bad shape. And for example, when it's in a bad shape, I can have it connected to the rules, and then another questions will be added to the questionnaire according to rules, and I will have to explain why it's in a bad shape or what needs to be done with this engine because it's in a bad shape. So this really adds you this flexibility to easily add labels to each question group, or in other words, to the component, and then have some logic executed according to this. Another feature for inspections is that right now it's possible to save answers to different table. Problem was that until now you had to have the questionnaire templates and even the answers in the same table. This made it a bit harder to make synchronization engine run really smoothly, and even the export of the data was not so easy as it can be. And what we did is that you can really enable the separate table to be used for the answers, as you can see on the screen right now. I just enable the answers to be stored in separate table. And right now it's easier to make the synchronization more efficient. And additionally, it's much easier to export all data from this new table to some other storage. For example, when you are trying to save some money and costs on expensive storage of Dataverse. And now let's come to the other part, and it's Power Solutions. Power Solutions are our products such as Forms Plus, Docs Plus, Steps Plus. And we added two features to the Forms Plus. First feature is offline mode. What this means is that from now in the Forms Plus, you can use the model-driven Power App offline mode. So one note, it's not the Resco offline mode with all its capabilities, but it's Microsoft offline mode with all its capabilities. Second thing that we added is QR code scanning. And as you can see on the video, you can scan labels of different products to easily and quickly collect data, and without any need to really manually type the information, you can just quickly scan it and get the data to the questionnaire. And these were all the features for inspections and Power Solutions. And now let's welcome my other colleague who will present the Power Components. Let's welcome Michal.
Thank you, Ludo. And now we can continue with the Power Components, new member of our product family group. If you are Power App Maker, you probably know that you are using components for building the application. And we in Resco decided to develop another components to speed up your productivity and helping you to build applications faster. In general, the problem is that if you would like to create the application based on specific needs, then you need to develop the components or research the components or use existing components that you need to adjust or configure in additional way. We decided that we will create a solution solution package that includes a couple of components, and we will continuously develop them, adding new features, adding new components, continuously support them. And by this way, we will be able to help you to build the applications faster with higher productivity. So let's start with the first component. It is a Kanban board. If you are a productivity lover, you definitely use various tools like a Jira or Trello, and we decided to create something similar on the Power Platform using PCF component that we call Kanban board. It is the simple component where you can just map the existing data to the Kanban view. It is ideal for task management, sales pipeline management, priority, or assignment management. The configuration is pretty simple. You need to bind your data source to the table and the view. You can define how the card will look like, so you can define the labels on the cards. You can define the color coding of the cards and the colors that you would like to use. So it means that you are basically binding the data with the color coding. This is the first version of the Kanban board, and we would like to enhance it in the next releases pretty soon. By the way, that's a good information that I would like to share, that these components will be a bit disconnected with the usual process of the development, and it will have a shorter period of development and also releases that will be much more frequent than our usual 3 times releases per year. The second component is dates range picker. Probably you handled some situation when you would like to define the logic between 2 dates. In most common cases, it is the from to situation where you would like to define some range or interval of the dates, and you would like to allow user only to select specific dates. For example, you would like to exclude weekends, exclude some holidays or so. In this component, you can bind just 2 dates in your database, and within the configuration, you are able to define some rules or criteria or some restrictions which dates shouldn't be selected. Use cases are pretty simple: range of days, disable specific days or disable weekends, and the configuration is also pretty simple. You are binding one component to 2 fields in the database. You can define the format, you can define the ISO of the week. You can define the minimum or maximum days that can be selected by user. You can disable weekends as a simple tick box, and disable specific dates if you know that these dates will be not available for the service that you are providing and allowing user to select the date. Another component is file upload. File upload is a simple component that allows user to upload files directly on the form. The use cases are adding attachments on the screen directly without losing focus while switching from one screen to another one. You can upload files directly on the process of the form or filling the form. You can also display the data directly on the form while using the image gallery that I will also speak about soon. Parameters of component are binding the data, so you need to select the entity that will be used as a storage of the data. You can enable or disable multi-upload, so you are able to define how many files will be uploaded. You can define the file size to restrict the file size of the images or files that will be uploaded. You can also define file types that can be uploaded, so you can filter out the data that user cannot add to the database. Now I will speak about 3 components in once. They're all connected with displaying or editing images. First one is image gallery. It is a simple component that allows you to display visual or multimedia data directly on the form without need to switching to another screen and then coming back to the form. You can define how many images will be displayed, if there will be thumbnail, if there is a full screen mode enabled or disabled or so. There is an image editor that allows you to edit the image directly in the application. So directly from the image, you are able to jump into image editor mode, where you can add arrows, text, some special symbols, colors, and so. And to enhance the experience of user of some specific use cases, like for example, removing some text from the image, we allow user to use AI image editor, where you can select the image, write the prompt, and then save the change. And as you see, you are able to remove the text from the image directly in the application just by using the component that use AI. Regarding the use cases, you can show images directly on the form and also videos. You can edit pictures, and also within the prompts, you are able to adjust the pictures without need to leave the application and then jumping back. There are basically two parameters that should be defined. The first property is data source. Obviously, you need to bind the component to some specific data. And second one is AI API key. So if you would like to use Azure API key, or you would like to use OpenAI, you can use these API keys as a configuration of the PCF component. Another components that utilize AI is AI translate field. AI translate field allows you to bind two sources. First one is the data that you would like to translate, and second one is the data where the translate data will be automatically filled. The component itself is just a simple button in the UI, but in the background there are a couple of properties that you need to define. First one is the field source. It is the field that user fill during the process of filling the form. The second one is field target. So while pushing the button, we will get the data from the field source, translate it, and then automatically populate into the field target. You need to define the language that will be the result of the translation, and also the AI API key for using the specific service of the AI. There are another components that will be packed in the first version of the solution from Resco. Couple of them, there is a multi-select drop-down list in the case you would like to allow user to select multiple values in the structure of tree view. So for example, you can define some criteria like automatically select parents or automatically select child in the tree view. Tree view itself for displaying data if they are organized in the hierarchical structure or there are dependencies between various entities in the dataverse, and the hierarchical dropdown is a combination of both of these. Our goal is to add more components into the solution. So in the long run, we would like to continuously add new features to the existing components, adding new components to the solution. We are open to get a feedback from you guys if you are requesting some specific components that you require for the projects that have been requested by the customers. Already we are working on table views, scheduling, and inspection PCF components. And as a part of the solution, you have secure components because we do it with the attention of the security. We add documentation to our wiki, so if you would like to know how the component should be configured, what are the properties, how to handle them, you can find the documentation in our wiki. The continuous development, as I mentioned, so it means that we continuously add new features, and if there are some bugs identified, we are fixing them and constantly releasing the new version of the component. Each component is currently packaged as one component in one solution, but in the future, we would like to package them as a one solution with the multiple components, and we will use a hierarchical or semantical versioning of the whole solution and each component. And of course, as we do in Resco, we also provide support for all our products, including the PCF components or components in general. If you would like to know more about the PCF component, try them, test them, they are available on our website. So you can download them, play with them, and give us a feedback. As I mentioned, this is the first package of the component, so feel free to give us a feedback, and also you can take a look on the next components that we will provide soon on our website. Keep in mind this URL, it's resco.net/powercomponents. And that's all from my side, and now we are jumping to the Q&A section. Yes, you can contact me directly, and the alias of my email is components@resco.net.
So I suppose this is related to the new structure of our portfolio. So there is a simple answer. You can differentiate these two solutions. That mobile solutions from Resco do include our mobile application, and Power Solution from Resco is basically a component, functional component for the Power Platform without mobile application. So basically what we are doing, where we have introduced the Resco Plus or the Forms Plus or our Plus solutions for the Power Platform, we definitely need to rely on the capability of that application. So in this case, it's we are relying on the native offline capabilities of the Microsoft Power Apps.
Yes, actually, that's something I forgot to mention earlier, because one of the improvements of small mouse interactions in the View Designer is now that you can drag the edges of the row to make it larger. And also when you move cells within the row, you will see the helper lines assisting you to place the cells correctly, to align them in proportion to other cells. So you won't have to check and change the X and Y coordinates manually anymore.
Yes, it is. Basically, we do have 3 license tiers, and basically geofencing is part of the settings of the wood fort, so it's included in every single license. So TDS, as I was mentioning, that we are increasing the speed of download of the data, but this functionality is also only available for the cloud implementations, so there is not a possibility to have it enabled for on-premise CRM.
Yes, they are for Dynamics Power Platform, but we are also playing with an idea that they will be available for the Resco Mobility, but they are not compatible yet. Yeah, currently they're available as a zip file of unmanaged solution, so you can download it on the link that is provided, I believe, on the screen. It will be also available in the summary of the webinar, so you can find it on the website. No, but the component of file upload will have this feature in next release.
They need to be enabled. Basically, we are not enabling them by default right now at the moment. We would like you also as well to test it, whether it works for you in your environment, and so it will be available from 17.1. Sorry, so not 17.2, but 17.1 update.
Yes, of course, we are working on it continuously. Currently, we are developing a new login and menu so that the first touch of with the app for new users and also navigation with the app for all users would be smoother. And also, we are working still on the improvement of the drop-down component on forms currently.